Hey there, guys. Going live here, Nolan Walker, getting set up on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. See if we can get Instagram set up. 51-year-old entrepreneur. Feel free to ask me questions. Been in business probably since 14 or at least 16 or 17, depending on how you look at it. Own several businesses now, digital marketing agencies, as well as a little software company named Data Pens. Do a little bit of real estate. Been in business for decades. And we have brands like roofing webmasters, plumbing webmasters, HVAC webmasters, Data Pens, but this is my personal brand. So we're going to be doing this, and I'm going to be committing to my own brand, my own person on it, which has been kind of obvious for the last 5-6 years or so that it's something that you should do in marketing. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to ask them. I'm going to engage chat here. Happy to answer any questions about business, employment, lifestyle, experiences, how to get started if you're already in business, some things to do, a lot of knowledge that I have on marketing, especially in the realm of like contractors and small business. It is Saturday, by the way, holiday weekend. So thought we might run into a few business owners that are taking some time off. Happy to answer any questions for kids too, looking to get into business as well. Any questions? Feel free to ask me any questions about business, entrepreneurial lifestyle, stuff like that. Been in business for decades. I know all kinds of business related stuff. No struggles of an entrepreneur. I can give my 2 cents on all this stuff. If you have questions about it, if you have marketing questions and you're a contractor, I've got a ton of knowledge around that space. Okay, we're live on Instagram. We are restreaming through YouTube and Instagram, Facebook currently. Any questions, guys? Any questions about business, getting into business, entrepreneurial lifestyle? Questions? So as far as it goes, I've been in business for a very long time, decades. We have brands that already, that in our little niches do well, that we've had for a very long time, digital marketing agencies, software, but this is my own personal brand that I'm going to be working on. But part of this, if anybody has questions, I really don't care if it's someone in business trying to get in business or just curious about entrepreneurial stuff. I'm happy to answer it. I always kind of wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I worked, I think, 2 jobs for other people, but I didn't like taking orders from people. Anybody telling me what to do. And I would have taken a job, but I didn't feel like I could get one to pay me as much as I felt like I'd want to make. And then I went to college. I just didn't get the full setup. So I felt kind of like I had to do my own business. And a lot of people in business, in case you don't know, are just kind of, it happens to them, So somebody starts up a company because they feel like they have to. I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs start. But if anybody has any questions, I can answer them. So, how do I balance faith and entrepreneurship? I mean, most people are going to tell you that, and I would argue the same thing. If you stray from the path, if you need to stay faithful, you need to stay grounded. It's important to continue to go to church and all that. A little deviation ends up out of whack long term. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs will get busy, and not practice faith. And it's important to stay grounded in your faith. In fact, just starting a business requires a lot of faith. Marketing requires faith. And if you don't have that biblical faith underpinning you, you're likely to you'll get off track. So if you ever listen to somebody there's a guy I like called School of Hard Knocks on Instagram. and he'll talk to a lot of guys that are getting out of fancy cars. You've seen them probably before. And a bunch of those guys will tell you that you need to stay in your faith and get right with God and stay with it. But yeah, it's tough, but we all struggle and go through that. But I do try to stay grounded in faith as I move forward. It's tough to claim that you're going to do it all by yourself. So good question. Any other questions on entrepreneur stuff? I'm happy to answer anything. That was a tough one, throwing out religion on the first question. But yeah, happy to answer other questions about it, but you better stay grounded. Yeah, God bless you as well. So yeah, I don't think anybody stays perfectly grounded all the time, but you'll have a tough time, even if you're a tough guy, a lot of energy. There's trials and tribulations. It's always better to be an entrepreneur, in my opinion, or at least try. So I don't know that it's for everybody, but I think that everybody used to be an entrepreneur. Agrarian culture, people were farmers. I think like 90+% of us were kind of our own business person on some level. So it's important to continue to try. I think most people should try to do something. It'll make you feel better, whether you fail or not. Somebody asked me the other day, you're going to fail, but that's part of it. You need failure, and people have trouble with that. But yeah, you definitely want to try. And most people need to try. If you got a dream, you need to try something. I'm not saying that you have to own your own business and have a successful one to be a success. I'm telling you that most people should probably try. And if you get successful, it's great, but it usually takes a little bit of a struggle. Any other questions about anything? Happy to answer any questions while I'm here. I'm personally, by the way, I've got brands. Some of my companies, anybody's curious, is roofing webmasters, plumbing webmasters, HVAC webmasters. I have a little software piece called Data Pins. And we've had those for years. I've been doing digital marketing for 15 years, the software for about 5 or 6. Before that, I had a home security company. Before that, a lot of different stuff. I mowed lawns but this is my personal brand. I probably knew I should have started it about 2-3 years ago, and I procrastinated that. So I can tell you that I'm committed to it at this point. I've done marketing my whole life. I know things are tough starting out, so I'm doing some lives. I plan on continuing to do lives. It's a good question. How do I stay consistent and not lose motivation? Man, I guess for me, if you want to stay consistent with stuff, you'd want to just continue to have a positive narrative of what you're looking to achieve, and try not to get down about failure as you move forward. You'll end up having things that don't work out, but continue to move forward. I had a daily affirmation, and I still kind of have one, but I'll do more visualization techniques nowadays. As far as a daily affirmation, you could title it, I am this, I am that. You want to have, you want to get persistent, and then you'll get expertise. So try and fail. Eventually you'll become an expert at something. Most people will tell you they didn't succeed. Even like a YouTuber will say they didn't do well for a while. I was just watching a Mr. Beast compilation when he started. I think he had 1,000 subscribers, and then 2,000, and it kind of grew from there. But they were pretty bad if you'll look at the old Mr. Beast stuff. And I think he blew up a laptop or something and got a lot of views. And then he saw that and he started doing more stunts and things grew from there. So I'd tell you to take examples from people like myself. Watch that video of Mr. Beast. It's humbling. And realize that as you continue to try, you'll become the master. And at that point, you'll have expertise and you'll finally get there. Most people do quit too early, and try to paint that narrative in your head of how your life is going to be, and live that with emotion as though it's already occurred. And that will help you continue as you move forward. A great question. Thanks for that one. Other questions? Anybody have any other questions? I'm happy to answer any other questions. It's a holiday weekend, so I'm committed to doing one of these lives every day until I grow my stuff. I don't have really much to sell you guys here. I feel like I'm a unique individual to ask questions of. I have been working for myself, had hundreds of employees, dozens of businesses, had a few make it, by the way. I've had hundreds of ideas fail, few businesses succeed, and the few that succeeded were great and still are great and provide me with a great lifestyle. And I'm happy that I've struggled through and stayed on it and had successes. So any questions? This is my hour a day. I don't know if I'll stay on here an hour today, but I'm going to try to do about an hour a day until I grow my own personal following as part of it. I have a ton around contractors, any contractors, and I love answering questions if anybody has questions about just starting out as well. So anybody already in business or anybody looking to start up. If you're younger, there's a ton of opportunity, by the way, that we never had. I had to pick up a lawnmower when I was a kid, and you guys really don't have to do that anymore. So you can start a channel, start a brand, just get people as your own branded person and figure out what you're going to sell later. So you can get eyeballs. That's marketing. It's really great stuff, and it's super inexpensive to start. Most people stop before they get going. Like I said, it'll be a struggle, but you'll want to continue. You'll want to keep going, and then eventually something will happen. Most people quit before they really get stuff going and before they try hard enough to get expertise. And Mr. Beast, like I said, could have quit a long time before he got going, many years. Any other questions, guys? Questions for me? Ask the businessman. Ask the millionaire guy. Ask the actual guy. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Always trying to do something, though. I'm a marketing guy. Anybody you listen to has a narrative that they're spinning. For a while here, I don't plan on doing anything with this. Roofing, cool. Google, so you are getting traction or you're not? Been using 6 weeks now and getting little traction on Google. So are you using data pins and getting pins? I'm going to look you up real quick. Recognition suburbs, listing every. Would we be listing every suburb when we make our pins? You don't want to keyword stuff. You don't want to do a keyword stuffing of your account. I'm going to look you up real fast. But so the answer is no. The pin will come through as you actually, the pin will show up the geo coordinate wrapped in schema code. The schema code will tell Google where you did a job. The pin itself, we're talking about digital marketing, by the way. So the pin itself needs to like describe the job, the materials, and that sort of thing. So you're going to want to just raise your hand and say, we did something. So you've got 57 pins. So yeah, as you get, well, if you want to, hold on just a moment. Let me get off of this. I'm glad you asked, though. As you do these, I'll take another look at these. But as you do a pin, you're going to end up pinning stuff. And as you pin, they're going to see more activity in the marketplace. So you're going to want to, by the time we get about 200 of those pins from somebody, we got a call from Google. What does that mean? Google calls typically don't happen. I mean, that would be rare unless they're trying to sell you ads. So that's not Google. Yeah, so you want to pin everywhere you can. Done this for like 15 years. And by the time somebody has a couple hundred data pins, they've raised their hand in their marketplace many, many times. Most people don't do any marketing at all, hardly. They'll just get reviews only. So you want to get as many of those pins as you can. And by the time we see a couple hundred of them come through, analytics on Google Analytics will typically go through the roof and begin to see a ton at that time. Doesn't mean you won't get anything in the meantime, it just means by the time we see a couple hundred pins, we see massive improvement. So you've got a good start going, but you're going to want to continue that stuff. You've been up for about, a very short period of time, I might add. It's been May 28th, so all of June. So you've basically been up for a month and a week. So your effort is so early. Let's talk about this for a minute, because I like this question. It's a good one. Most people quit right before they're successful. They don't start up enough. I'm going to give an analogy on this since we have a little bit of time here to go over it, because this is one of the reasons I'm doing this, by the way. I have started marketing. So a lot of people don't know I was a contractor. And I got into marketing because we needed leads all the time. But we'll sign up people. They will not finish. So 5 weeks, little traction, harsh statement if you're from me, because I own the company and somebody's tried just a tiny bit. So just a tiny bit. So 5 weeks is, you got to go through a little bit further, push through a little bit of faith, and you will see traction. Google doesn't have people really trying at all. In fact, I started doing calls like this just to connect to my own client base a little bit more. Oh, you are just saying the pins are already working. Okay. Well, maybe I read it wrong. I've been using Roofing Webmasters for about 6 weeks now and getting, a little traction. Okay. Very little. It said very little. If you're getting some, if you ask me personally, and by the way, you're welcome. You've got my phone number. I think it's Carlos, right? You got my number. You're welcome to call. I'm sorry, Jason. I wrote that down right. Yeah, you've got my number if you want to call me. But let me give you some really personalized advice here on it. And I think this is a good format for it while we're talking. Go to the 200. Don't mess around with it. I want to relate it back to this too. I'm on here working on my personal brand, and I'll tell you, it is different than yours. So I have a national brand. People find me under roofing SEO, roofer SEO, plumbing SEO, plumber SEO, and HVAC SEO, and then thousands of other long tail keywords, as we talked about. So I want to show up for everything. And then for me, I've got a lot of competition like worldwide. For you, you're competitive in Houston. And so if you're in that Houston market, I promise you that if you'll continue like you are and not stop and go push through that 200 and continue to signal, almost zero roofers in the marketplace will have done that. Most people stop and give up before they send any signals. So they've got this really one-sided thing of a website, and then they got reviews. I'm glad you are getting a few after just 5 or 6 weeks, a little bit of traffic. So it'll grow. And you do need faith. I don't know who asked me earlier, but somebody asked me about religion and faith and entrepreneurship. And you need faith, however you want to spin that on this as you move forward. You've got to trust somebody. I've done this for 15 years. Go to 200. Take pictures of roofs. By the way, if you got a chicken and an egg problem, I want you to actually take a picture of a roof, make a comment on it, even if you didn't do the roof. If you're on a roof, take a picture. If you're doing a roof estimate, take a picture. We're talking about marketing to Google, sending digital branded signaling so they see the brand. Most people don't try. They don't try it. And you want to give an analogy on this. It's not going to be easy for me to take my Nolan Walker brand. My goal is 250,000 subscribers, followers through multiple channels. That's a lot for a business guy. There's not many that done that. I lay down and I fight for that. Now I fight for this to go forward, and this overarching brand will bring synergy and branded signaling to roofing webmasters, plumbing webmasters, HVAC webmasters, and data pins. I know it'll work because I do all this other stuff. Now, when Randall's Roofing begins to signal, instead of just reviews and a website sitting stagnant, they're doing a pin here, and they've got geo coordinates. And instead of just raising their hand for how many ever reviews they've received, which probably isn't that many, right? So if instead of doing that, they actually start raising their hand every day. It's like, bro, we are dogging it. We're new in the marketplace, but we want respect. And then they start seeing a variety of good signaling without cheating. So they're seeing geo coordinates wrapped in schema, unique photos that kind of unique content, and the technical version of what happened on the job, which is 50% of all search. And then combined with a little AI integration, we spent about $1.5 million or $2 million on that, not for my health. And again, Jason, I'm glad you're getting this format of me, because you get, you found us online through a medley of marketing, and then you go, okay, let's try these guys. Google's the same way. What I'm doing is the same way. This is like hardcore integrated marketing for my brands. You're doing the same thing with data pins on an accelerated level using data pins. Most people limp in a website, throw some links out of Mumbai, India, and slam some blog entries that nobody wants to read, and it falls flat. Somebody lies to you on the phone, go, oh, that sounds good, that SEO, I'll take it. And then they don't really do anything. They do some trash. So you've got really high quality signaling going out. Send it out. Talk about the situation, leak around chimney flashing. I'm gonna look real quick. Let's check these pins. Yeah, these pins are fabulous. Whoever's doing these, complete tear off and re-roof residential home, install it on its corning duration. I love it. No, please do not put the city pages on here. If you full pin, you'll see the new version of data pins. I didn't mean to go off on a presentation here in my companies. If anybody, but I'm so pleased to hear from you. These are great. These are going to do really well. I tell you what, too, just for participating with me, I'm going to do something for you right now. I am going to see if you need any extra domain authority. Jason, give me a second. I'm going to Slack the team right now. So guys, if y'all have businessman questions, ask me. But thank you so much, Randall's Roofing. I think it's Jason. And I am going to send this over to somebody in the crew and do some free domain authority for you. You'll probably need it. The effort's a little nearer. So thank you for participating. This cost me, by the way, about $500. All right, just told the crew. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, thank you for that. And I'm glad you're getting a little bit. Keep the faith, keep signaling, realize that you are a digital branded signal to Google. And if you don't stop, you'll kick butt. And don't forget what brung you. Don't forget how you got there. A little bit of decent help on a professional service, better signaling with something like data pins. You won't find a better show. And by the time you dial in a big market, and the reason you're getting a little bit, by the way, is because it is a big market. So please continue those nuanced things. That little traffic, hey, if you don't mind, if you're still around, are you getting the obscurity first? Is that what they're responding to? So is that what those few stuff has come from? So as you start up and you're in this huge market, they've already got people, and it's not like you're not going to get, other people, primary keywords, I'm sorry, on Google Business Profile and stuff. But in the beginning, you're going to get these secondary keywords. And I'm curious if that's what you're getting currently. So if you mention like a shingle or something, oh man, I appreciate it. Yeah. How's Angela treating you? Angela knows a lot. I'm serious. You can call me if you need to. If you want to call me up, the phone number on the website still reaches my cell phone, but I'll be back at it Monday, and I'm pretty gung ho on getting involved. And oh, she's been great. I appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, she's good to work with, but just keep doing that. One thing that when you deal with my people, and the reason I've gotten more involved recently, if I tell you, by God, I mean, I fight for people. It's my business. And sometimes I'll have somebody move or leave the area. Are you in Houston proper, by the way? Hang on a second. I'm going to check something else. Yeah, domain authority is linking was the beginning of the internet. You still need some domain authority. Site's kind of nearer, I think. Oh, Pearland. Hang on, man. I'm checking you. So Pearland, Texas. There we go. 8 reviews. Yeah, keep getting reviews. Things are new. You're in a good spot though, man. I'm pleased with where you are. Remember, in case I don't talk to you again, but you can call me if you need to. But you're on the edge of the metro. If you move, be careful. Like if things start going well and you move, please call us first. Do not move out to the country or go out in the sticks somewhere. We don't want to see that. Um, do move. Do move. Stay where the city is. I don't know if you stay in Pearland or not, but just be cautious about the move itself. If you start to make money and want to move away, be cautious. All right. Okay. So do you have any other questions while you got me here, by the way? I'm happy to answer. Pearland just South Houston, but a lot of our work's been. Yeah. So here's the thing. If you start like popping and you're like, man, I'm going to go, I don't really want to see a second location and be spammy. Now, I don't know what the location is now, but I'd like to see the most legitimized location. I'm going to call it light industrial, like light industrial space, an overhead door, R panel, other contractors around. And by the way, hopefully not a roofer next door. So be careful. You don't want to confuse Google, do anything too weird. And I might move closer to population count. I don't want to scoff what brought me if Pearland's bringing in daily call volume, but I might move just right inside the loop if I wanted to get some stuff. Those keywords are going to pick up extra too because the city is so big. So you start talking about Owens Corning certainteed or leak around chimney flashing or, I don't know, Mulehide TPO or farmer's roof insurance claim. You start talking about this stuff in a city the size of Houston, and you're going to get a lot of those long tail keywords. Half of all searches, weird stuff. Remember, everybody wants to show up for roofer Houston. That'd be great, but it's really hard, even if you're banging on stuff like data pins. But I want to see you going for those long tails, and then that'll make a lot of money. You'll be shocked as you move forward. And if you do the nuance of, if you're only shingle, I call it shingle storm insurance, but if you're doing stuff like certain types of tile, certain types of synthetic slate, please do talk about that. You're literally getting a page of content, and you may not love this other stuff, but man, wouldn't it be great to have that tile call, or that Bravo Barrel tile call, or that Da Vinci slate call, or I don't know, whatever, that type of architectural shingle. I want you to be talking about them. And if you're not installing that material, I'd really like in a perfect pin to talk about the material I removed, because you may put up certainteed on everything or Atlas, but you're removing everything else, and you can at least talk about what you removed. That'll help that pin out a little bit, and it'll get a little extra stuff. And I don't care if I'm repointing chimneys and grout or repairing skylights. I'm going to want to talk about it. So other questions, and if you move, please call. Please call. Don't kill yourself in a move. Got people I had someone move from Austin that did paving, been a client for like 7 years. They moving out of state and told us to send the website. I hadn't called them yet. They moved from an area that had millions, and they're do asphalt paving, which is fantastic outside of Austin, but they're moving into this. The whole state, I think, has 6 million people. I forgot where they're moving to, but it's a bad situation. I have it happen all the time. You got to kind of stay plugged in when you're in business, just like I'm doing now. Any other questions? Randall's Roofing, you can ask me more. Jason, anybody else got any questions? I don't care what the questions are, lifestyle related. If I had to give a roofer any knowledge, by the way, I've watched a bunch of them. Get huge in that market. Don't go starting up another location. I have had it happen 100 times at least. The amount of times the second location makes it for the roofer is almost zero. They go somewhere for a storm, and because you'll experience success on Google, and then you'll want more, but you really just need to attack that area and be the dominant one, and then keep overhead low so you can make a profit. I mean, and stay involved like I am now. I like this more than I used to, but the pain of not being involved is more than the pain of being involved. And so I appreciate speaking to you. I'm on a Saturday. We're off right now, but I don't want to, you know how it goes. I'm jumpy I'm 51. I've been doing business so long. I don't want to not do something. I want to feel like I participated. It's been such a slow holiday week. It drives me crazy. Um, yeah, keep up the good work with the pins though. And if you got questions, let me know. And you can always call and jingle me. I enjoy talking to business people anyway, and especially my clients. Other questions, guys? Anybody? Yeah, roofing's rough, man. The 50-10 split, the salesperson takes, so much of it. I will say that once you dial in, you're gonna get calls. If you'll stay on it, you're gonna get calls, and you'll be able to hold those salespeople longer. I would never stop canvassing personally. If you're a canvasser, I have mad respect for canvassers. I was from home security, and I was too much of a wuss back in the day to knock a door. But if you've got, I would stay with them. I would be careful. And I'll tell you one, I do have a lot of thoughts run through my head on this. I stay involved in sales, man. I do. Do I want to? I don't know anymore. I like it now. I wanted to run from it forever, forever. I have sold thousands of things, like thousands. Just in digital marketing, I think I've signed up 2,000 people almost. I think I sold 10,000 alarm systems. And every time I try to bring salespeople, and I've had a salesperson or two my whole life do as well as me. And man, dude, one of them went into competition, kind of robbed me almost. I felt so. I felt so abused, man, so used. So I trained this guy, and he went into competition against me. And by God, that happens all the time in roofing. That's where they come from, basically. I would be careful burning my leads on salespeople. That's my number one thing to you. I'd be careful burning my leads on salespeople. That guy needs to go out and make his own. I don't want to hear him crying. You know what it's like not to have a lead, I'm up here doing this to make sure I keep leads coming into my company, burning a little energy on a Saturday. My son's over here cooking for us. My daughters and wife went to take a kid to Oklahoma University for the first time. So I could have been doing other stuff, but you know how it goes. So don't be, let them go canvas. If they don't stick, fine. If you're going to run a group of canvassers, let's say there's 5-10 people, you churn. And you got to keep ZipRecruiter going, some hired and non-owned auto, a van, and a manager. I mean, it gets expensive. It's a heck of a lot more expensive than organic optimization. So treat those leads special. Don't give them up. Don't burn up the budget hiring a bunch of salespeople and trashed out leads. And be careful about it. I don't have a perfect scenario though, because it's so tough to keep them. If the leads come in enough from organic, you can mitigate attrition of these salespeople though. So you might end up churning through a few and having like two that you really like. And you're like, I'm going to give them a few leads. I know they won't burn them, or I might sell twice as good as them, but I'm tired today. It's holiday weekend. It's 4th of July weekend. By God, I'm taking off a week and I'm going to give leads to these two. And I got some to give to them, and at least they don't quit. So that's probably what I do with it. Now, if I'm giving them leads, that's on you. You're out making data pins. You found me. You dealt with me. You've got the thing that everybody wants, that lead. I'm not doing a 50-10 split, I don't think. And if anybody doesn't know what a 50-10 split is, you take I don't know. I don't know if I know it right. $10,000 roof, $3,000 profit. You take like 10% of the gross, cut the profit, and then they take half the profit. So 10% it comes off the top. I don't know if that comes off net or not, but in Texas, since there's so much competition in roofers, because we don't have licensing, the salespeople come in and beat the streets, knock the doors, and they kind of write a pretty good ticket for how much money they make. But if you're getting leads out, you're passing out the thing that's the brand, and the leads makes the whole thing. So your experience with salespeople should be much, much better. Yeah, but I think it's called the 50-10 split. You split the profit after you take 10% off the top for overhead. But I wouldn't pay that to them if that's if they self-generate. And I'm talking, they're walking, sweating, knocking doors, especially in Houston, right? Yeah, so I don't know. That's the 50-10 split, and I'd take it off. It'd have to get cheaper if they get a lead. Have to. And if they're going to get a lead, they don't need, I mean, be a lazy sales guy. I'd want them at least doing the 6-pack, the 8-pack. I mean, knock the street. If I'm giving you a lead, knock the street. I'm going to knock money off of what I give you if you get a lead, and I want you knocking the street. And I'd probably go out with them. But in my opinion, let me rephrase that. In my experience, burn your leads, kill your business. You get enough of them, it's a grind. You'll find a few people that can sell, and you'll keep them because you have a lead source. Otherwise, you'll just churn them. You know how it goes. Any other questions about stuff? Now, and by the way, I had never had I tried a door knocking crew, and it was, I did try back when I had home security, but back then they'd knock doors until they get somebody that could fog a mirror and pass a check on credit check, and then we'd go put it in home security system and have a bunch of attrition. So it's a little bit different with a roof because you can claim insurance and do all that stuff. But yeah, I've never done it myself with the roofers. I just know you'll hold them with leads, and they shouldn't make as much if you get a lead. But that guy can, if you really get a good guy, and eventually you'll find some, by the way, I don't want to be too negative about it, because you'll get older, build the brand, and have a few estimators. You'll get a few, but you probably won't have a large team that you can keep. But you'll get a few, and then you'll hold them because you own the brand. And then they should, drive a wrap truck, park it in the back of the church parking lot. They know people, have connections, put the yard sign out, referral bonuses to your clients that, neighbor referral bonuses, stuff like that. They should be able to self-generate once they have a little bit of activity. All this comes off of building a brand, by the way. Everything, what I'm doing. In fact, I don't know if Randall's Roofing just Google searched us, but what you don't know is the Google search happened. He either found me as a person or found the company as a brand, or both. And when he found me, I was up in ranking, but I was up in ranking because my digital branded signaling was great. So we do that for other people, but just in general, whether you do business with me or not, somebody finds you digitally because the algorithm and even social media found you and said, hey, this guy's looking for this. It could be on TikTok. It could be on, when everybody's still basically doing for home services, Google, Bing, AI search, stuff like that. So when that happens, it's because of digital brand signaling. When the client buys, when someone sees something, now you have to have a good service. I happen to be one of the only ones with a good service. In my field, there's a bunch of charlatans, thieves, cheats, liars, and just salespeople without any resources. But when somebody finds me, it's because there was digital brand signaling, and then it was reinforced through a brand. Now there's a third tier reinforcement, like a personal brand, like I'm doing now, but all y'all can do this too. And if you don't want to get into a hard service like a digital marketing agency or roofing business, I have digital marketing agencies. I service roofing business, plumbers, HVAC, but you can go a lighter version of this if you're younger. I think it works better with the third tier. Like people get AdSense money, people get brand deal money, and then people tie into, I just learned some of this and I agree with it at VidCon. I went to VidCon, a YouTube conference for a week. But the third one is a hard service, like digital marketing agency, roofing company, plumbing company. So you take this digital format and then you tie it together. Most of us, and I say most of us, old dudes, 50-year-old business guy, roofer, we're not going viral to where we can make AdSense money, TikTok money, Snapchat money. We're not getting brand deals either, but we can utilize those two things to then tie into our business to monetize it. And so much comes off there, it's mind-boggling. Most old school business people, and why I have to talk to them all the time, don't understand hardly any of this and will just barely limp into it. And once their brain figures out that this is it, and the whole thing comes together and literally is digested by algorithms on search engines like Google, Bing, now AI search, ChatGPT, and other AI, and social media also integrated with algorithms and AI. And they bring the whole brand together, and then you show up out in the ether and your phone rings, emails, text, scheduled jobs. That is literally how it happens. So roofer goes up and wants to dominate in Pearland or Houston, doesn't understand any of it, tries to, and then messes it up somewhere or never gets going or gets sold by somebody that doesn't do a good job, like gets screwed around and needs help, but misses the part where they're the ones bringing through the digital brand signaling, through the ether, through all the algorithms, through the AI, and then they show up in ranking, dominate, and make millions. So all the guys that that's how they show up. That's how it happens. So that's how this stuff works. And they're also bad at it and misunderstand it. Because if you went to VidCon where I went, they got it down. Those kids know what's going on, but they don't own the businesses. The older guys barely limp in with any signaling. They don't understand what's going on. So if you can be an old dude that has the business that's the service, and you can tie in good signaling, your phone will ring off the hook. I mean, the ones in the marketplaces that are in ranking today understand that. They, by God, understand it. The ones back in the day may not have. They just got lucky. They're around. They got some tenure and experience creds called EEAT with Google, and they're the Impact 3 mapping. That's over. You show up and you're online and you go from 57 data pins to 570, from 7-8 reviews to 80, you're going to be killing it. The signaling coming off of that company through that marketplace just on something like Google, Bing, ChatGPT will blow them all away, and you can smoke them. Just give them a whipping because they don't understand it, and they're remiss in it too. By the way, most guys get old by the time they're my age, and they're cranky, crotchety, negative, judging, hateful. I mean, they're doing everything wrong when it comes down to it. But if you can take all your experience from being an older dude and then tie in and get involved in everything. And by the way, if you got questions about this and you're my client, you can call me on the phone. You're not there yet to even worry about it. You can dominate Google and all this other stuff. You got your hands full for the next 6 months, year. There's always another step to take if you wanted to. But when people dial the whole thing in, it looks like magic to people. And then older dudes like me or most of my clients will idolize those people who dial it all in, like a Grant Cardone. Like, how'd he do it? Well, he committed to his brand fully, and he participated in everything going on that all the kids are already doing that most old dudes complain about. So you have people complaining but not doing anything, and all the judgment and complaints stop them from running their own business properly, and they just dial in a little bit. We dial in contractors all the time, and they do plenty. They're already doing like 5 or 10 times more. The contractor could do more. In roofing, I'd give an example of like me or Dimitri or somebody that wrapped in other social media and then pushed it to a different level and still ran their own business. Dimitri actually had a roofing company and then tied the whole thing together. It was kind of awesome. And we all know who it is. So, yeah. And, watch the salespeople like a hawk. Follow up on those leads too, by the way, if you're still here. Follow up on those leads. Don't let those people have a lead. You call them up and ask them how it went. How'd it go? Did they service you well? Did he come over on time? And so I'd follow up, much less go out and I'd spot check forever. If I had somebody answering the phone, I'm going to put a call tracker on it, check the legality in your state on recordings. I'm going to record if somebody's going to dispatch or take a sales call. I'm going to be checking up on them because I don't trust them. I mean, forever, I don't trust them. I don't care if somebody looks like peaches and roses. I'm going to check them every once in a while anyway. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions? I'm appreciative of that call, and I'm happy to answer anything else. Any other questions? See what else we got. Other questions? I'm going to stay on here a clean hour. I think I'm at 45 minutes. It's a bit of a quiet day. Everybody's taking time off. I feel like an old dude working on a Saturday on a holiday weekend, but time don't stop. And I don't want to be complaining. I don't want to be complaining next year or next month or next week. So, and I get enough work in, by the way. I get enough rest time in, and I get enough work time in. If I feel like I'm rested on a holiday weekend and I'm working a little bit, I don't think people are working enough. Not most of them. Randall's Roofing's here. Good for you. Trying to learn something, do a little something. Anybody got any questions? Ask the old dog. The OG, self-proclaimed OG, GOAT, maybe. Maybe in the world of webmaster work for contractors. All right, guys. Anybody got questions? Any questions at all? I'm going to keep coming back on these. Wish I could get some more contractor questions. I do like those. Love the contractor questions. But if anybody's young or, I don't know, just wonder about entrepreneurial lifestyle versus employment, if you're thinking about any of those types of questions, I'm happy to answer any of them. I think it's important stuff to think about. Pretty cool lifestyle if you never get free. A lot of chatter about this in the new generation, but I think you work more when you're an entrepreneur. I think it's better, but it sure does feel like sometimes people don't want to work and have stuff, but that doesn't normally happen. A lot of the nomads are gone now, right? Spend all the money, digital nomad. Hard to make money, right? Can't vacation nonstop. Got to work somewhere. Be self-disciplined. Be an entrepreneur or work for somebody else. Depends on what you're doing, what your priorities are. Anybody? I'm going to check one other thing real quick. There we go. Any other questions? Questions for the business guy. All right, here we go. I'm checking something for you real quick. Yeah, this is a good question, man. I love this question. That's why I'm working today, by the way. Thank you very much. Question is, if we have a slow day, repairs or leads, something I can do as the owner to try to advance the company. I hate feeling like I'm wasting a day. Agreed, man. By God, same. And I talk about this with guys every once in a while. There is no law that says you can't go take a picture of a roof and do a pin. Just don't send there's no email or text sent. Don't put in a phone number or an email, but you're still going to get a geo coordinate and a professional comment about a roof. Stainless steel metal roof with corroded fasteners needs repair. You can take a picture of a hotel, not even see the roof, and talk about a TPO. So you can get pictures, you can talk about wind damage, you can talk about stuff you see, and you can still get pins. I would do that. I have something I tell people, Nolan's five points of review success. Good old boy, ask them in person. Hey, I sure would like a review. It helps us out a lot. Now, most people aren't going to leave one, so the pin gives you the geo coordinate. Then I'm going to hand them something so they got something to touch. They got person, they got something to touch. I'm going to text them. I'm going to email them. Text and email comes off of data pins anyway. And the fifth one, I don't have anything to do. I'm calling back. I'm calling. When I'm new and I got 8 reviews like you do, I'm calling everybody. Say, hey, Nolan, we came out there last week and make sure your roof's good. Don't do this like a year later. Do it within the month or something. Roof holding water, they're going to give you. And you say, I'm glad everything's going well. I won't bug you again. I'm going to send you a text one more time. I won't bug you again. But those reviews really do help us. And so then I'm going to call back one more time. Good old boy in person. I'm going to hand them a little tactile card. If you go here, I'm going to text and email them. I'm going to call them back one more time. Some people have them scan a little, scan something and have them go straight to it, scan a little card. And you could do that if you want, but it can get a little evasive in person. You are going to get a data pin on the spot dropped, and Google's going to read that. But I'll still take a review too, for sure, and you can do that. And then I would literally go get some tea. I'd get out. I'd pull the truck over, get pretty close to the curb. I'd snap a picture from my truck of the roof. I'm on a pin every day, every day. And if I'm a canvasser, I canvas too, by the way. So I would canvas. And if I'm not a canvasser, I'll lay down a challenge for you, because I wished I had. I'd go, if you know where a storm neighborhood is, try to break your comfort and go hit that neighborhood and knock those doors. Knock that door. Just stop and say, just take a T and stop. Be careful. You don't need a solicitation license with the county or the city you're in, but I might knock a door or two. And I don't think they'd be able to come get you fast enough if you just knocked a few doors, by the way. Knock a few doors, canvas a little bit, take some photos, make some phone calls. There's not a lot else you can do on that front. You got to be careful just throwing money out at, at leads. And because as well as I do, most places you put money will just gobble up your money. Google Ads, Angie, Yelp, Home Advisor. Nothing wrong with trying it, but be careful spending the money that way. All right. Other questions at all? I loved that question. And I will tell you also, on the roofing, get those pins, try to get like 50 of them a month minimum. Now, you're already kind of doing that, by the way, and they're coming in. Don't do 50 in one day. And if you're getting those and you're getting a review, there's not a whole lot else you can do to really move that needle on the organic front. Everything else is just like schlepping getting your money out there, and it's painful because your money goes out and you're going to end up having a hard time. I'm going to check you real quick on your domain authority. You guys, domain authority, Google started, it used to be inbound links. Inbound links would come in. If they pointed to something, said roofer in Dallas or roofer in Houston, and Google say, oh, they're popular. So yeah, I'm getting you need it. I'm going to spend that on it. You need domain authority. This will help the rankings move faster. I just checked it. So we'll move you up a little bit on the domain authority as it goes. Any other questions? You know what? I think I've got a few more minutes here. If anybody's got any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. But yeah, domain authority, we'll be kicking those out, and give me a week and I'll get that done. It'll make it move a little faster for you. Any other questions? Happy to answer anything else. Keep that overhead low, though. Hire those salespeople. Don't let them burn up those leads. Treat those leads. I think I'd get the wrinkles out of my belly before I got rid of those leads on the sales guy. The chance of them selling like the owner is almost non-existent. I know you want it, but just make some money, Make some money, unless they're going to canvas for nothing. But if I'd have them canvas for nothing and keep my leads, and I'd only hand them a lead if I got sick or had to take a vacation. Don't give them those leads out of guilt. You don't owe it to them. Anybody not in roofing doesn't know what I'm talking about, but guys come out and canvas and knock doors and stuff. They can self-gen, and then they get a huge hunk of the profit off of it because of it. But if you're making your own leads, you don't want to give them out unless you really trust a guy or really need a day off. Questions, ask me. I'm Nolan Walker. I've been in business since I could push a lawnmower. Semi road of hard knocks, although I think I had it pretty good getting born in the United States. And just didn't get to do the college route. Like a lot of entrepreneurs, by the way. I don't think y'all don't know that we mostly had a rough time of it, all of us. I almost never met an entrepreneur born with a silver spoon, because we would have just gone and made good grades, get into a good college to get a good job. But thank God that didn't happen to us, right? Thank God that didn't happen, because I'm living the best life. Anybody got a question about entrepreneur stuff, lifestyle stuff, business stuff? I'm not an attorney, but I can answer some pretty detailed questions. Anybody got any questions for me? Been in business for I don't know how many years now. Have several businesses: roofing webmasters, HVAC webmasters, plumbing webmasters, data pens. I am the vast majority owner of those companies. I have a little bit of real estate, and I've been through a lot of hard knocks I can help with. Built businesses, used to push a lawnmower, mow lawns, painted curbs, waited tables one time. That was horrible. Tried to sell real estate one time. I don't have the bedside manner. I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, but talking to me, I'm pretty good at a lot of stuff, but I didn't like selling real estate and listing a house for somebody. Was not my cup of tea. Anybody got any more questions? I'm going to go about an hour, and we're getting close. We're getting close to that hour. I appreciate all the questions I've had, and I appreciate talking to Randall's Roofing. Thank you for being a client. I really appreciate it. We appreciate your business, and I appreciate the fact that you're growing. You'll continue to do better. It'll get hundreds and hundreds of % better if you'll continue on the road that you're on. Got the little link hit coming up. You kind of needed it because you're new, but you'll end up dominating that market that you're in, or at least in your neck of the woods. You'll get one of the most dominant ones. It's already moving that direction. Other questions? Anybody have any general questions, weird questions? How to get started, how to market, what to do? Is it worth it? Anything? Any other questions? I'm happy to answer other questions, guys. Nolan Walker with the Webmasters. And I don't have any ulterior motive here. I will tell you, long term, I'm just building my own personal brand. But this is just free advice, as direct as I can make it to you. If you ever need like a business coach, life coach, and you're somebody trying to start a business and you want that type of advice, I'll answer it right now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to come on here from time to time. Just follow me on, you can follow me. Currently, we're live streaming off of Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I think most people find us on YouTube. I've been in business a long time, and I'm about as direct of a dude as you're going to find. I have a ludicrous amount of serious experience. I will tell you, I'll rant on this, and I don't hate on people. I have respect for these guys out here doing coaching, but a lot of those guys never had any business success until the coaching itself. And the coaching feels fake because it's a bit of a show. I feel like I'm pretty unique. I don't want to entirely hate on all that stuff because I like some of those guys that do the coaching, but a lot of it's just the coaching. I've been through the ringer on a few businesses, and I've had multiple successful ones. I've had a digital marketing agency, 3 of them for 15 years now. I was in home security, sold 23,000 alarm systems. And I'm not saying it's all been roses and success all the way, but I've done a lot, hundreds of employees. I feel like I'm in a pretty good place at 51, some place that a lot of guys would like to be in. I've got pretty raw knowledge, and I'm very direct and respectfully so, by the way. I want y'all to be successful. In case I want y'all to be entrepreneurs and have success. I know it's hard, but I want more people around me that have tried business. I feel like people had stopped, and there's so much opportunity right now. My gosh, fabulous opportunity in the market. So I love all the new opportunities with social media. It's just great. And so I feel like I was behind on getting my own personal brand going, and I'm done. I'm done saying I'm not going to do it. So I'm here to fight. I'm going to go to 250,000 subs. It's going to synergize my other company brands, and it'll eventually bring me other opportunities in this. I do plan on doing some coaching. How to write a book about how to write a book. I don't know, man. I mean, I think you can go on ChatGPT and do it. A lot of that. There's an OG of business coaches named Brian Tracy. You should check him out. I mean, he's like 90 or something, but he sells a course on how to write a book about how to write a book. Because and by the way, it is a massive part of a brand. So some of my businesses have books on them, and they're listed with Amazon. They link to my product, and it's a great thing that you're talking about is part of an overarching brand. Check out Brian Tracy, he on Instagram, and go to him. He'll sell you a course on that as well. Guys, I don't know if we're on, I think we're still on all the platforms, but we just hit 1 hour in. And I think that's my quota for the day for now, at least what I put upon myself as an entrepreneur. If anybody has questions, though, I'll still answer them. I like How to Write a Book on How to Write a Book. Book writing, I don't care if people read it or not. You go link a book on Amazon and you can hold it in front of you and stick it on your website, stick it on your social media, include it. It's part of your authority. It's part of the brand, and it helps immensely. People write books only because of that, in case you don't know. The books, they could care less. They didn't read the book. The books I got, I didn't write any of it. Ghostwriter is my picture on it. It's part of the stuff that I did for the agency stuff was someone that worked for me and ghost wrote it. It's just part of an overarching brand. There's so much stuff that goes into branded stuff, whether it's a company or an individual. It's all content curation. It's all narrative spun. And then hopefully somebody has integrity when they provide a service to you. The problem is a lot of times when you're listening to coaches and all this stuff, they're not bringing in much. There's not much behind it, so, and you can feel it sometimes when you're talking to people. It's like, I like that, coach, but I don't feel like there's much behind there. It's because of all this stuff, but you need to understand it yourself, because the personal brand and the book and all that is huge now. It's huge. It's going to be one of the best things in the future. And we already have seen massive characters break off from it. I'm not necessarily talking about, if you're younger, you see people break off and literally make money off of AdSense, off of YouTube, or off of TikTok, or off of Snapchat. And then very few then get some branded deals that they make money on. But you can make money by synergizing your service. If you have a good service, then you can synergize it. Your book that you wrote, your multimedia channels, your diversified social media, your lives, your shorts, your posts, and then your product comes in. And it could be a professional product. This is where I don't hate college on stuff. You could have a profession that helps children or that helps people with this type of thing or that type of thing, and you're degreed and your time gets booked out at $300 an hour because you're the foremost authority and people know about you. Or you could have that degree and be broke, completely broke, because nobody knows and nobody books your time out. So these brands, stuff like the book, absolutely. I've had some books up for years on Amazon and they're written well. I thumbed through them, but yeah, most people that put a book up never wrote a book. I mean, it's not like all these coaches just all of a sudden became authors. They just jot down some stuff, somebody else writes a book. But yeah, if that's what you're saying, I love it. Brian Tracy does one, and he's on the way out, and he used to sell that course. I think he still does. I say he's on the way out. He's working until he dies. Love that guy. Love him. He's one of those original OG coaches before social media. Any other questions, guys? I'm happy to answer anything. You got any other questions? I guess I'm going a little longer. I might as well. I like the book. I like the book stuff because it's branding. I don't think most people read a book. They buy a book and thumb through it. Ty Lopez, he scans them quick. I'm not discrediting that, by the way, but people buy a lot of books, put them up, set them around, have good intentions, thumb through them. Very few books I read word for word. I don't read as much as I should. Other questions? By the way, I'm not perfect on a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to sell you all crypto or other crud. I'll tell you what I know. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. But yeah, I mean, I wish I read a little bit more. I still read a little bit. I just don't read as much as some of these other business guys claim to. Other questions? Anybody got any questions for me? Nolan Walker. Painted curbs, mowed lawns to start. Hard knocks, uphill both ways. All that good stuff. Anybody got any questions for me? Anybody? Answering questions for y'all. If you just got on here, I'm the owner of Roofing Webmasters, Plumbing Webmasters, HVAC Webmasters, software piece called Data Pens. I own a little bit of real estate. I love being an entrepreneur. When I walked across the stage in 5th grade, all the parents laughed. I was one of the last ones with name Walker, and I had to spell entrepreneur in 5th grade. I've always kind of wanted to do it. And I feel like at some point I had to do it. But I did take a job or two. Anybody probably don't remember where I even worked. I worked at Montgomery Ward's. All right, guys. Other questions? I'm a biohacker. Any enthusiast biohackers? I think when you turn 50, you'd better become a biohacker. All right, guys. I guess that is it for me today. I appreciate all the questions we had, and we'll see you next time around. I'm going to sign out.